Welcome back, beautiful people of the podcasting world. My name is Frankie Rodriguez. This is the Three Amigos podcast. We got Anthony Olan, Christopher Langsdorff on deck. A lot of hype going on with this movie. The scores came out this week. Not very favorable. Um, and I disagree. I disagree with the scoring. I think it should be around the same, if not maybe a bit better than what Aquaman got. I think Aquaman got 60%, quote unquote, fresh score. Black Adam was, I thought, better. I've seen Aquaman. Black Adam itself is a good movie, I think. It has some strong qualities to it. The writing is its weakest point. In my opinion, the visuals are good. I want to say the editing was a little bit off in terms of this movie, where the visuals in Aquaman to me weren't as good, but the editing was better. The soundtrack was fine, it was good, it was generic. The Rock seems to think he has a very good, I guess, mindset when it comes to a soundtrack. So I'm assuming, he literally like 15 years ago, he kept talking about it. He kept saying it in the promos, like 15 years ago, he casted himself, or he was casted to be Black Adam. So he has had a lot of input on this movie, on the character. So a lot of the things is of his influence, of his fruition. I'm sure there was more studio intervention, if anything, but as Chris has pointed out in the past in our off group chat conversations, how he is trying to like maneuver himself to be like maybe the go-to and head guy of the DCEU. And this week, the president, I think, stepped down. So there might be more truth to that claim, to that rumor, to that random statement of that he's trying to take over the DCEU and be basically Marvel's Kevin Feige, that version, that opposite of. But the movie itself is good. The first act is pretty high gear. It doesn't slow down. The movie doesn't really ever slow down. If it does, it's for a brief moment. And yeah, it's like it's not like a gas, like it's like it's not a full gas pedal. Like it's not like, I'm flooring it. I'm not pushing on the gas as hard. It's like it comes on and off and then it slows down a bit, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to again be spoiler free and just kind of give analogy. The characters are fine, they're fun. I actually wound up liking Hawkman a lot. Carter Hall. He was pretty cool. He was like that. He's like a wrestler where like you love to hate on him because he does get booed, and they pretty much made this movie to like. I guess you can look at this as a spoiler or not, but also not really because The Rock has stated that this is a hero movie, and if you know who Black Adam is, he's not a hero. He's not a hero. Chris has been just nonstop saying about how, sarcastically, this is a true American hero. Not American hero, but he's a true hero. Black Adam is. And we know he's not. If you know the source material or know some of it or the general idea, Black Adam is not a hero.
He's not even an anti-hero either.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's
just
not.
pure villain.
Pretty pure evil. Yeah.
Pure
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
That is not the case in this movie. If you didn't get that from the trailers, I don't know what to tell you. It's not a spoiler. But man, did they do a good job of making him look like a really cool hero to an extent, and making you may even want to boo the JA, the Justice Society. I said JA, Justice JS, Justice Society, which is the leader is Hawkman, and then we have Atom Smasher,
Ew.
Doctor Fate, and Cyclone.
How is Dr. Fate not the leader?
I don't know. That's what I said. He's lived for like 100 years.
He's like the most powerful. That's okay. That's weird.
Yeah, so that's definitely it falls to Hawkman. He is the leader, but one thing though, he is a founding member of the Justice Society, so that is technically accurate.
Right. Isn't this Kent Nelson, Dr. Fate?
Good question.
I'm pretty
I already
sure he's
forgot.
playing Kent Nelson. It's like the most powerful version, except for Zatanna's dad.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tesoro. Yeah. No, this is James Bond, Dr. Fate.
Pierce Bronson, which by the way, great casting, and he was great.
Oh,
He
I
was great.
mean, he
This is
looks
Kent
just
Nelson.
like Kent Nelson, so yeah.
Yeah, this is Kent Nelson. I can confirm it's Kent Nelson. No, he was wonderful. Pierce, this was great casting, and he was great in the movie. Honestly, he should have gotten his own movie or his own series. Hopefully, something that good that comes out of the DCEU is spin-off shows. And who would have thought that fucking Peacemaker would have been the best probably hero show of this year or last year. I already forgot when it came out. I'm willing to die on that claim because I think uh that show was way better than a lot of the Marvel shows that came out this year. Maybe She-Hulk now. I don't know. But Black Adam has something there that you could easily branch off into something even better, which has again shown to be true. You could prove that with again the other shows that come out of it, um, or other movies that come out of it. Uh, the movies again, it has its faults, and maybe the pace is what maybe hurts it a lot too. Um, it was fine to me. Like I didn't care about the pace too much, but again, the editing and was a little choppy to me. The acting was fine overall, but the story is where it's at. It's just kind of it's very generic. It's very generic. A superhero show being a superhero movie being generic, shocker, right?
Not enough Zoa energy for the editing team.
Oh yeah, they
Should
gave
have
out a lot of free
shotgunned a few
Zoa.
Zoas,
Oh,
man.
dude, I
Yeah.
have the Zoa in the fridge for you, man. Don't remind me when I see you next time.
I have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Since we've gone over, it sounds like you've gone over a lot of the movie, at least as much as you can without giving
Spoiling it.
away details, even though there are some pretty big spoilers that are already out there,
Oh yeah,
mostly because The Rock won't shut the fuck up.
he will not. No, he
Uh,
won't.
I hear a lot of people talking about like, Dr. Fate's casting and Hawkman's casting. Do you think The Rock was the right person for this movie?
He was never going to relinquish it. Like I said, he just kept it's all over social media. Dude, when we sat down in the theater, they don't play trailers for this sort of these sort of events
Yeah,
and free
yeah.
things, and it was a clip of all the whole cast, or like the important parts of the cast like talking, and and at one point The Rock actually said 10 years. Like I've been with this character's been with me for 10 years, but in social media posts and articles it's been 15 years. So I'm like, make up your damn mind. So like no, he was never gonna relinquish it, but someone should have told him you need to be a bad guy and get your ass whooped and suck
What
it up
is
because
his
that's yeah.
Sorry, what is his obsession with Black Adam?
It was on the Tonight Show. He mentioned that when he was younger, he would read Superman comic books and he loved Superman. And then when he learned about Black Adam, he felt that Black Adam had similar powers to Superman, which yes and no.
Right.
But the difference being that he's brown skinned like The Rock. So he's like, yeah, this is me. Like and he says that on Tonight Show with Fallon. Like he tells him that, and that's the reason why he chose Black Adam.
Fun fact, he came from the Tonight Show to the premiere that same day.
Yeah, I did see that. That's why he was leaving to go to the premiere.
Yeah,
You know what's funny? Did you either of you guys see Pain and Gain?
Yeah.
parts of it.
Like, I'm like pretty sure The Rock, either it's that movie or there's some movie where he has a goatee. Feel like he would have made a good Jon Stewart.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if he's so obsessed with playing somebody that has like borderline magical powers, and he's clearly trying to find he wants to be a good guy, right? Like
yeah.
that
Right.
much seems kind of obvious. And I guess he
I
can't
mean,
play
there's
Superman.
there's been like a fan work of it for years, and then he's done some military movies, so he has that
Yeah.
demeanor, he has the physique,
Oh yeah.
the attitude. I mean, I think he would be a great Green Lantern, honestly, a
Like,
great.
Yeah.
yeah, like Jon Stewart's pretty charismatic. I mean, we like watched the Justice League when we were kids, so like that's the Green Lantern a lot of us grew up with. But I mean, if they were gonna do if there was ever a way to revive that poor character from what happened with Ryan Reynolds, it would probably be to put The Rock in the movie. Like, I don't know, doesn't that almost seem like one of those weird things that he'd be like, I can save this character. Like, there's no like The Rock lives in this world of like no one can do it but me.
Yeah.
This seems like wouldn't I'm surprised he didn't like spearhead like, no, we're gonna build the whole fucking DC universe around the Green Lantern. Like, I don't know. This is just so like Superman versus Black Adam. What?
Yeah.
This is so
Yeah.
weird. This is such a weird like I don't
So
know.
I
that
don't know.
means
Right,
that
though.
me's Superman's gonna lose, right? Like Henry Cavill's gonna get his ass beat by The Rock,
He's
Yeah,
gonna
right?
he
be the bad
Dwayne is
guy.
too
Yeah.
alpha, dude. There was issues on him on set in the Fast and the Furious because
Yep.
he wanted to be like the main attraction.
Don't
He's
you
so alpha.
remember he had like him and I'm like pretty sure this is true. I hope I'm not spreading misinformation. there's like this rumor that went around that in one of the Fast and Furious movies that Jason Statham is in with The Rock, they each have a clause in their contract about not being beat up too much in their movies.
Hmm.
So they like so there can like never be a winner when they're fighting each other. And I just wonder, like, how are you gonna put he's not gonna lose, right? Like
Yeah.
he's
To
not
be
gonna want to
fair, I think
lose.
Jason Statham could easily kick The Rock's ass because Statham is actually an actual martial artist.
Yeah, he's like an actual, and he also appeared convincingly as President Barack Obama in front of Congress.
Great throwback. I love that movie.
uh, do you think The Rock would put Superman over? You
No,
think he let
I don't think
Superman
so.
cover him for the 1, 2, 3?
You know what's gonna, you know what? We mentioned this back from, it was another movie idea or something where it was like this person versus this person. They're gonna fight in like one fight scene, then they're gonna team up at the end.
Dude, I
Yeah,
know.
it's gonna be
That's what's gonna
Godzilla
happen.
versus King
Yeah,
Kong.
Godzilla versus
Uh,
Kong. And there was another one that we mentioned that did the same thing or was gonna do the same. I don't remember. Some of the shit
Batman
we
versus Superman.
yeah.
Yeah, there was that one. And um so I don't really know what else to say about
It's
that.
okay, man. Don't worry. You're flustered because you're
Because
gonna go see it, right? I guess that's my,
here's
my
my
question
here's
for
my
you guys.
thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
so I love The Rock like everyone does, right?
Sure,
But
sure, sure.
I think for me, it's more so of like just his charisma and some story he told about when he was doing like one of his earlier movies, and they said some shit about him that he couldn't do something or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but he like kind of pushed over the boundaries or whatever. Granted, there is that idea of maybe, it's just the silver spoon idea because his dad was a wrestler. He easily made
Yeah.
it. I mean, you had the training and everything, but wrestling into the movies and all that. But I love The Rock, but at the same time, you can't just be changing shit because you don't want to lose a fight, like
On-screen fake fight.
um so I'm still gonna see it. Probably not at release because I'm broke, but I get paid the following week, so maybe I'll see it then, less
Hmm.
crowd.
Sure.
Maybe I'll grab a Zoa and sneak it in or something.
Hell yeah.
Go on a
Um,
matinee. So I guess my final verdict is if you want to watch a movie and you want to spend your money and you got nothing else to do, go watch this movie with your friends. Don't go watch the movie by yourself. You might actually wind up falling asleep. I went with my buddy Roland. He actually did fall asleep a few times.
Oh, I was gonna go by myself.
Oh, damn. Okay. If you could take your brother, take your brother.
he
If you could
he doesn't
take
want to
one.
see it.
All right. Hey, smart kid. Smart fucking kid. Don't watch it. Um, I guess my question, you already answered my question. So Chris, are you gonna go watch this movie or no? Hard pass.
I mean, the post-credit scene's already been spoiled, which to me is like the only reason to go see the movie.
I haven't seen it yet. The post credit.
So
I
No,
have
don't worry.
not.
We're gonna spoil it. We're not gonna
Gotcha.
spoil it for
Yeah.
you.
I was gonna, no, yeah. I mean, dude, if you somehow have not heard about the post-credit scene, then
It was
I
immediately out that same day.
um,
I avoided it. I haven't
The
heard a single
Rock
thing
spoiled
about
it.
it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Um,
He did. He
I
did
was gonna
spoil it.
ask you, do you think that part of why The Rock chose Black Adam specifically just so happened to choose a character that Superman has a weakness to, just coincidentally?
Sure,
Do you
I could see
think
that.
that he picked a pretty obscure villain because he knew he could change a lot about the character without too many people being angry? Like
Mm,
because he's not taking a villain that a lot of people are like that familiar with.
right.
Like people, maybe you've heard of the name Black Adam, but like most people probably know him as a Shazam villain. And we don't have to get into the fact that like The Rock torpedoed the whole Shazam 2 script so that he could get his own movie.
Hmm.
But like it's hard for me to shake the idea that he chose a villain that he knew not that many like mainstream people were that familiar with. He didn't pick the Joker, right? Like he didn't pick someone that like there's going to be an outrage over like, wait a minute, that's not how the it's going to be like a very minor collective of people who are like, that's not the way Black Adam is supposed to be, but whatever, like he's not that important of a villain in the first place. Um like do you think some of that was intentional, or do you believe The Rock has this 15-year connection to this villain, which is an interesting connection to make just because he has the same color skin?
I believe it. I believe that he has this really big connection. he stuck it out, you know. He used his influence to make this movie happen for sure. And so yeah, I'm in between that line of like, yes, he definitely finessed his way. I think that's the right word, honestly. He finessed his way to make sure that this hero, excuse me, this villain became a
See,
hero.
he did it to you. He
Yeah,
already
see,
got
exactly.
you.
See, it's happening already. This anti-hero, yeah, He changed everything about this, and people won't. And no, okay, there's definitely gonna be naysayers like, no, this is wrong. I mean, we're saying it's wrong, but
Right.
we don't care so much because it's a meaningless character.
Yeah.
The only reason like I really enjoyed this movie is because we got to see uh a whole more heroes from the DC universe on screen that have never been on the big screen before. Like Hawkman got a badass suit that looked better than anything else live action related. I think from was it from Smallville and from
Yeah.
The
uh
recent CW
Flash. Yeah,
Flash,
exactly.
yeah.
CW those aren't they're okay, but this thing hit. This was money. That suit was money. So they have
Oh
a
yeah.
vision, and The Rock has a vision. It's just that The Rock's got to look good because I will say, I mean, you can find the clips there, and it was in the trailer. He beat the living piss out of Hawkman. Like that's not fair. Like,
So I will say the answer to your question, Chris, would be I don't know how active The Rock is reading the comics to say, oh shit, Superman's weak against magic, so I'm going to use this to my advantage. I think it was just the physical appearance that he drew to it. And I will say, this is like a few years ago, there was a stupid wrestling mobile game that was similar to like the Injustice game where they took the wrestlers and they made them into like John Cena was like a Superman or
yeah,
whatever.
Oh
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember
And
this.
The Rock was like a rock like dude. He could be a maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, throwing the idea out. Maybe he could be a decent dark side and beat the shit out of Superman in a movie, but then you have to lose at the end. But I could see him as a decent dark side, maybe, just don't make any jokes, don't laugh or whatever, just be all serious and hands behind his back, Omega beams and shit. I think it'd be a good dark side, but this
I
whole Black
guess
Adam versus Superman thing, it's like,
yeah, I guess my last question to you, Frankie, as
Mhm.
since you're the only one that's seen the movie so far, um, The Rock is basically after this movie came out or is going to come out, is essentially Warner Bros. Is saying like Black Adam is the first movie in this like 10-year DCEU plan that they're now
Oof.
going to be making a point of, I guess, now that they want the movies to connect. Do you think, because there was a time when like not that like you remember at the end of Avengers 1 when Thanos shows up and people are like, who the fuck is this purple like
Yeah,
weird purple guy? And then they end up like turning him into this crazy super mainstream villain that like actually ends up having a pretty large fan base. Do you
yeah.
think that there is potential for Black Adam to become the Thanos of this next phase of DC, like to become the big villain? Because right now there isn't really one. Like Darkseid was a Zack Snyder thing, so they could just
mhm.
completely scrap that and come
Right,
back to it later.
right.
Unless for some reason he shows up in Superman 2. I think it would make more sense if it was Brainiac. But
Hmm.
do you think that Black Adam is going to become, because The Rock is, if you're going to do it with anybody, with any actor, it's a pretty good actor to build your whole fucking universe around.
Yeah,
Or is he going to be the Iron Man of that universe?
I mean,
Well,
he
I mean, I
shouldn't.
think he probably sees himself as the Iron Man,
Yeah,
but he's a bad guy,
that's like it's already
unfortunately.
passed. Like, it started with Zack Snyder's, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was already a
But I
rough
think they're
start.
going to kind of retcon a lot of this. Like, I mean, that movie was like almost 10 years ago.
Dude, and yeah, if you haven't heard, and I'm sure you have heard, there are confirming other movies that we've been all wanting because actors deserve a second chance. Like apparently, Ben Affleck isn't technically out. I know we talked about this a couple,
Ooh.
a
Yeah, no, he's
couple.
back. He's
Yeah,
back.
he's been. I
Ooh,
think
I
he
didn't
he
hear
never
that.
well he like left quietly or not quietly. He left on his own accord, but technically he still had a contract. So unless you're like got a good lawyer to get yourself out of a contract, then by all means. But I don't see. I can't like the way the movie was set up. No, I don't see him being set up as the big bad and creating a fan base or having a large fan base for this character. Because one, if people are somehow a huge Black Adam fan, they're not gonna like this movie. If you're a Dwayne the Rock Johnson fan, you're gonna like this movie. If
Mm.
you're in between and just want to give it a chance, you're gonna like this movie. Um, but if you're like a hardcore DC fan who has, maybe like a purist view on it, you're not gonna like this movie. And you're not gonna, and it won't go towards that direction that you're saying. I don't see it happening that way. The only way they do that is by if he comes in another movie and does the unthinkable, which is kill somebody. So that's the one way that it could fix. Like he kills Shazam, Billy Batson.
You mentioned earlier on that this movie showed us characters that haven't been seen on screen before.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that happen for some other villains, for like if they do another Batman or another Superman. Like
yeah,
I would maybe like to see Man Bat on the big screen. Maybe like to see, I guess, Clayface as well.
Clayface would be amazing.
For Superman,
scary.
yeah, we want Brainiac, but also
Chris's favorite.
Parasite, Metallo, we had the stupid Doomsday. Bizarro, yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah,
dude.
Bizarro would be pretty cool.
Bizarro should be tragic. Well, him and Solomon Grundy are pretty tragic ones.
Grundy could be another one. Like, I want to see those characters because
you should work for WB. I hear they're hiring.
Because nothing against like the classics, but how many Jokers we've had, how many Lex Luthors we've had.
It's tiring. I hear you.
Like I want to see, and I made this point when I did my superhero video games video on YouTube, of naming these different characters that we don't see in video games, we don't see them in movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we may see them in some video games, but they're not that common as they should be. Like, yeah, some people may not know who Metallo is, but you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn a day.
I want Wildcat, a hero movie or a show. Give me Wildcat, man.
I mean, we're still getting Blue Beetle allegedly.
Yeah, we are. I mean, Yola was in this suit, man.
Wildcat he's in or he was in Stargirl, but now it's a female who took over.
Yeah, but I want Wildcat. I want Wildcat the boxer, the badass boxer.
Whatever. Dude, I want Jay Garrick because that's kind of.
I know you do, man. Who do you want to see, Chris? Before we wrap this up,
get their own solo like DC project.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of Dr. Fate. I think there's a lot there just in how the character. I don't know how much they go into it in this film in particular, but
sure.
the helmet Naboo is pretty brutal.
And
like, just the way in which Dr. Fate works, where like he takes your body and you don't get it back ever unless you find a way to give him a stronger body, which is in Young Justice how he takes over Kent Nelson. They pass the helmet around to a lot of different people, and each time they end up having to find a different person that Naboo agrees to take the helmet, and it ends with Zatanna putting the helmet on to end an episode, and then Naboo is going to just keep her because she's strong and young, and then Zatara says that he will offer up himself in order to save his daughter. So Naboo is like, Dr. Fate's a pretty brutal character, even though he's like often painted as a good guy.
Yeah,
but he's a good guy in like the Batman sense of like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So like Dr. Fate will do anything to save the world, kind of like Doctor Strange, like if we're being real, even if it means sacrificing people who don't want to be sacrificed.
Did you ever see Suicide Squad Hell to Pay?
No, not yet.
Yeah, because there was a funny version of Fate in there, or not funny version, but the guy who he took over was pretty funny.
Yeah, there's just a lot there. That'd be really cool. I don't know, how it goes in Black Adam, but given that Dr. Fate can be literally anybody, it would be kind of cool to see that character explored a little bit more.
Especially if they do like a sequel with a different guy. It's like, why'd you recast him? But we didn't recast him. It's a different body.
Dude, Aqualad puts on the helmet at one point. So like you could literally put that helmet on anyone.
Yep. Put it on the
and
rock.
it's up to Naboo if he keeps them.
All right, I like that idea. I feel like that should be a series then because a movie with
Yeah.
Dr. Fate, I feel like he's too underrated, but I'm happy he made his fucking debut on the big screen. I mean, I know he made it on the small screen too. I don't know how that was, but that's another conversation for another day. But thanks guys for joining me for this little non-spoiler free chat. If you do wind up seeing the movie, you two let me know immediately what your thoughts, especially if you know about the credits and all, or once you see the credits, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.